Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the...
What the hell? Fucking got you. God, it's been weeks, months.
What the hell is that? Yeah. There is no way he got here this early. There is no way. I haven't even shaved, nothing yet. When I said I was a horror junkie. Okay, so since you decided to show up early and shit, see, look what's happened. I was about to hop in the shower and shit. Freaking, you requested all this shit, okay? You're lucky I got it set up already. I ain't all set. Yeah, but you know, I got the handcuffs. I got the chained whip like you asked for. Also, don't plan to sit down for about a week. I get a little carried away. But you like that, compared to your messages at least. So, are you down?
You son of a bitch. Hey everybody, guess what? It's Friday the 13th again. Probably not when it's posted, but we're gonna go through it. We got the original folks back. We got Mr. Mayfield. We got Mrs. DiVil. And look at me, it's Mr. D. And let's just get into it.
Yes!
Friday the 13th, part 3. What?
Yes.
I on your guys' list, some of you ranked higher than I did. Do you still feel that way?
Nope.
So
not in.
Yeah, my list is definitely sees some turmoil.
Ooh, it's crazy how your list changes when you look at it with like a reviewer's eye instead of just a fan eye. Yeah.
So it was a lot lower on my list, I believe. It
moved up in yours, didn't it?
I dug it. The main reason why is because Shelley in this movie was so much fun, and I'm laughing because there's several things that I caught on that I didn't. And one of the first scenes is somebody takes a dump, and there was a bump in the night, and he doesn't even fucking wipe. He just gets up and he's like...
Kiss?
What's going on?
Yes. I was totally going to bring that up.
So was I.
But the thing is that's perfectly fine. One time's fine. Later on in the movie, the hippie goes to a porta potty. He hears a bump in the night, and then he doesn't even wipe. He just gets up and he goes outside.
I mean, he probably was just going to spray himself with Truly. Let's be real.
Yeah, true.
I mean, but seriously though, why? Like they could have got away with it if they didn't put an audible like him pooping beforehand. Like it was nasty. Like you could hear it. But no,
like
let's just. Yeah.
That was like some Taco Bell level like madness.
Literally. And he's like, "Oh no, let me grab a bottle of booze instead of wiping my ass." Yeah, makes complete sense.
Yeah, totally. So the way I'm approaching, since you brought up ranking these, I'm starting a fresh ranking, and as we do each one of these movies, I'm gonna add it into my ranking. So currently, it's sitting 2-1-3.
Same here. We agree. I love it.
I think it's 2-3-1 for me.
Okay.
But are you doing yours on Letterboxd?
Gretchen, stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen.
No, not yet. I haven't gone through and put it in there yet, but I will.
That's where I'm doing it, so anybody can like go and check
Letterboxd,
mine.
I swear to God, Letterboxd, this man promotes you every single day to multiple people. If you do not give him a sponsorship, then you're basically wasting your money. I hear this every 5 seconds. Hey, have you gotten Letterboxd? Have you gotten Letterboxd? Have you made your Letterboxd list?
The review system is amazing, far better than IMDb in my personal opinion. Then on top of that, you can look at people's reviews, click their profile, see where they put that movie in a list. And I'm like, oh my god, they do rankings of movie that year. I get curious about that shit. And I stock Andrews, I stock Mr. Mayfield's. It's just nice seeing how people rank shit. And then I can judge you. I'm just kidding.
I haven't ranked anything on there in quite a while.
See,
I haven't been on it since I downloaded it when Billy told me to.
every new movie that comes out, like Saw X, I just updated my ranking of the year. It's seriously great, especially when I want to talk about things at the end of the year. Like, okay, here's my favorite movies of the year. I have something to remember, like how I felt. So,
oh yeah,
easy peasy. Shout out to Letterboxd.
Yeah.
All right, let's kick this off with.
Okay. I know the first thing that I want to talk about it, and it involves the first couple seconds. So if you don't mind, if I can bring that up.
Is it the music?
No, it's the intro itself.
Okay,
because
go ahead.
Goes into our earlier conversation with part 2. A minute and 30 seconds of the other movie? Why is this necessary?
What about the 16 minutes it takes to get to the main cast?
They didn't have Blockbuster. They didn't have streaming services. This movie isn't like Star Wars. It's not going to re-air the movie that was made previously. It's like, you know what? If you guys want to come and see it, here's the last 15 minutes. Oh, yeah, you're caught up. Let's get started.
I respect that, but a minute and 30 opposed to 30? That's just my opinion.
I mean, honestly, the better stuff is that minute and like the final scene in that movie's better than the final scene.
I won't disagree with you. I won't disagree with that.
So you're at least paying for something, right?
I mean, what do you think, Jonathan?
So I really despise the beginning of this movie. I just think it was a lot of wasted time. Mm-hmm. And by the time you get to the main cast, like I said, you're 16 minutes into the movie. Like, not only that, this is supposed to take place less than 24 hours after the last one, and somehow Jason's shoulder's completely healed.
Yeah,
like, there's nothing there. He had a machete go through his freaking shoulder or whatever, and nothing there.
Yeah.
There's some
continuity errors within this
continuity, and a lot of people are saying, is this really Jason? And I'll get into that in a second. There's trivia I have. I really liked the first 15 minutes of this. In fact, I was dying laughing throughout of it. Like, that lady was just bitching at her husband, and I'm like, man, that guy just needs to be put out of his misery. I can't wait. I'll be happy for him.
That poor man. That poor man. He just wanted a donut, but at the same time, he was kind of nasty, okay?
Well, he
was
saved
nasty.
a bunny. He's like, oh, if she found you, she would fucking wear you as a coat. And like, I'm like,
He was nice.
He's adorable.
But he was like drinking out of a jug he was selling. That's foul, okay? That's just foul.
Hey,
I mean, the peanut.
it's trends at Walmart now. So he was just doing it before it was cool.
I can't. I just can't.
I really like Jason just lurking around. And oh, yeah, is it Jason? Throughout this whole movie, I don't know if you guys caught on. Jason is not mentioned once in the movie.
Yeah, they never mentioned his name.
I saw that explained away with the fact that it happened so close to the time period of the second one, and media coverage back then isn't what it is today. So no one would really know who was responsible for all the events of part 2 yet. The news coverage wouldn't have gotten out there yet.
Makes sense.
You would think Legend alone, especially with the kids talking up Crystal Lake and them going out there. And I think Chrissy lives near Crystal Lake, especially with the flashbacks.
Yeah.
So
from what I understand, the camp that this takes place in is in the same compound as Crystal Lake. Because that's at least how the video game, I think, explains it. It's like, I think a lot of these camps were either renovations of the previous one or they're on the same compound as Crystal Lake. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well,
no, I think it's just like the second one was just on the other side of the water or whatever.
That's what I thought. Yeah, like on the same compound. Yes.
And this was definitely a change of pace because this at least involved a house and a barn. The fourth movie involves, like, it's seriously just a home invasion movie. It's not even a camper movie.
You know, one of the biggest aspects that I took away from rewatching this is the appreciation that I got for the game that they made that's unfortunately going away at the end of this year or next year, I don't know, a couple months from now. But this movie looks exactly like the game, and that is like shows how much of a huge love letter that the video game was that's going away, and that makes me really sad.
I beg to differ. It wasn't bright ass daylight in the game.
No, but I think that they killed like the blueprint of it and like the characters looks because there's a bunch of characters from the third one that's in the video game.
Do you know why it was so bright in this movie? Pretty much, I would say at least 60 minutes of the movie was cotton day. Do you know why?
Probably because of the time of the year they had the film.
It was for the 3D. They couldn't capture 3D well in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
I heard they were filming and it was extremely cold during the season they were filming too.
Oh, that's
that would
true.
make sense. Well,
so you go at night, it's only going to get colder.
That's very true.
So the bat scene, like, if you want, let's go ahead and talk about this real quick because it's kind of a distraction. Mm-hmm. The bat scene, the juggling scene, the yo-yo scene, the popcorn scene. There was a couple of scenes where Jason just reached out. Oh, the snake scene, the eyeball scene.
I was about to say, you can't, the two that I was going to bring up.
You can visibly see the wires on the snake. I love it. Pulling it out of the crate.
It's not just a wire. It's like, they didn't even try. It's like it's a bunched up wire. I'm like, what? And then when he pops his head, like the spring behind his eyeball, I'm like, girl, don't worry about your man. He was a robot anyway.
It looked more realistic when they threw his body through the window. I think that was the actual actor.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, oh my god. I enjoyed the no, we have 3D. What should we do? Juggle. And you see the juggling at a weird camera angle just so they could do the 3D effect. It's so good. I know
Billy probably would have wanted in 3D.
Oh yeah.
I never got.
I got it in My Bloody Valentine. That was that's such a good movie.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's probably because they didn't want to risk 3D boobs at the time. That was probably risky for the rating board.
They kind of did.
It was risky for the movie theaters and the cleanup crew.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of hinted at it in the shower. IMDb kind of, I would say, dumbed it down because I thought Part 6 had zero nudity whatsoever. This movie was like, oh, it's very mild. You barely see any tit. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I told my wife that, and like, so she's in the shower. You see like them bouncing side to side, and you still see nipples and shit. And I'm like, oh, you see a lot more than IMDb led on to believe. But it wasn't.
It was mild back then.
That what? I guess so.
I mean, you know, you see some side boob, you see nipples through the bathing suit. I mean, there's stuff for the straight guys in this. I mean, it's not like overly exploitive.
So we talked about the 3D. We talked about the titties. Let's talk about the campers
I need
themselves.
to ask one more thing about the 3D. Because I noticed on the HBO Max version, like a lot of the versions with Jaws 3D, there is a lot of blue and red tinge on the version that I saw from the 3D filter that they used that they weren't able to get out. On the most recent release, Billy, your updated Friday the 13th Part 3, is there any blue or red tinge that you noticed? Because it's kind of obvious on the HBO Max version in some scenes.
Not that I noticed, but then again, I wasn't looking for it.
Well, see, it's kind of obvious to me because when the one girl from the gang's climbing up the ladder in the barn, her fingernail turns blue from the red and blue filter, and some of the background scenes are still tinged. And I was just curious to see if they fixed that with this.
I wasn't looking at her nails, Lil, so I wouldn't know.
No, it was more of like a gleaming, kind of like the blue it popped. It was like my eyes went right
Trust
to
me,
it.
something was
blue.
popping, and I did not see that.
Oh, good lord.
He was wearing a leather
First thing
jacket,
Lil
though.
sees is nails. First thing Billy sees, the rack.
I mean, this correlates.
So
How
honestly,
about you, Jonathan? I know you have a Blu-ray version of this. Was there any blue or red in yours?
I didn't notice it as visibly in my version.
Okay, good. Good to know. That's good. It's unfortunate that like the streaming versions don't get as good as versions, but yeah, go ahead, Billy.
See, I'm sad that this went away, but they actually converted the Shout Factory one to a 3D Blu-ray. A lot of people don't believe that they were actually going to do that. They were forever going to do the red and blue glasses. So no, if you actually have a 3D TV with a 3D Blu-ray, which is kind of funny because they made this as soon as that shit went out of style. So if you still have something like that, you can actually watch this and probably have a great time seeing all of the stunts done in 3D.
Well, see, the thing is, like, my Blu-ray is capable for 3D movies, but my TV is not. So I feel like I have to get like a cheaper like 3D TV to put in one of the rooms in here and just have it like see what at-home 3D is like, because I've never experienced that before.
It can be good. I've seen good and bad things with it. The two highlights would probably be the first Hobbit movie and Pacific Rim. They were really good in 3D.
Okay.
I'm a big Pacific
those
Rim
seem
fan,
like ones
so
that
that'd be exciting.
I love Lord of the
they're-
Rings, so yeah. I always wanted to get that experience at home, but they're really expensive to get the 3D TVs.
Yeah, I got one when I had my TV before this one, and then when that one conked out, now I have the one that's not 3D.
I mean, I got you. Because it was kind of like a fleeting trend, you know? Like, not many movies are, like, at-home 3D anymore.
I bet you it comes back. 3D is that same gimmick that comes back every 15 years.
I mean,
So I
it's
bet
due
you-
for an in-home comeback.
I bet you somebody's creating a cost-effective 3D model that looks just as good, if not better, than the 3D TVs that we got years prior. So that'd be exciting.
There's got to be a way to do it. I mean, with the technology we have, there's got to be a way.
So the music in this movie definitely changed from the previous two. If anything, it's more disco. And what was so funny was I told my wife, hey, no nudity, let's watch this. And then as soon as I press play, it goes, and she's like, is this a porn?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, it's Friday the 13th. Because she's used to like like all that type of music.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what made them do it this time.
I think it has to do with the time it was made, probably.
It was
trying
fun.
to stay with generation. You know, I mean, it still felt good and horror like. You know, it was very more synthy-ish and more like, as you said, more like, I guess, Boogie Nights, disco-ish. You know, but it worked for the tone of the film. I thought I didn't feel a disconnect. I felt it was a little bit more blunt than the previous films. What do you think, Jonathan? Did you like the music in this one?
I didn't really pay too much attention to the music per se. I was more like analyzing all the different kills and all the different characters and that sort of thing. The music was kind of like very in the background for me on this one. It didn't really stand out, I guess
it
you could
didn't
say.
add anything. Yeah.
If you use your ear and pick it up, they actually play this song 2 or 3 times, which my favorite time was in the gas station convenience store with Shelly. Because as he's asking, like, can I buy you 2 a beer? Like, it's playing hardcore, the, like, main theme. I'm like, this is so fucking weird.
I got you.
Speaking of Shelly, and let's just talk about the characters real quick. The characters in this movie, the group of friends, what did you guys think?
I'll let you go first, Jonathan.
I liked most of them. I just feel like Shelley was underutilized, and I mean, I don't want to jump ahead too far, but we're free from spoilers at this point. This movie is from 1982, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, movie night with Bill and not spoiler.
The way they ended Shelley, I was not happy with.
I agree with that. I mean,
that was
they had
bullshit.
100%, 100%. I agree with them.
Honestly,
they had a lot of potential.
So this movie gave me more appreciation for the remake, with the way they found the mask. But I was really happy that Shelley was the one who was carrying around that mask. And Jason
Your face was mine, Jonathan. Your face was mine. That's all I got to say about that.
What do you mean? Did you guys not like that?
No, I just don't understand how this one makes the remake better, personally.
Oh, because Jason basically went to a hillbilly's, like, fucking dump and, like, found it. And, like, when he put it on, it was more of a, like, I dig this. This is me. Fuck the sack. I can see out of this. I'm having a great time. No, this one I felt like Jason was a fucking troll in this movie, like going around like, did you see the flashback where he's like licking his lips? I don't know how well your guys' screaming one was.
There's a reason for that. And I wanted to wait a little bit to dive into this, but now that you've kind of said it, the original plot line for this movie, this was set to be the end of the franchise, and they're originally going to have Jason be a
aggressive hugger. To be safe for work, of course.
Ooh.
That correlates.
He was our final girl. Her flashback was going to show that he essayed her, and
that I was gonna touch upon that with you guys because that's what it looked like in that scene. It didn't look like he was trying to kill her. It looked like he was. Yeah.
So they took that out, and that's why we're left with, like, creepy, I'm just going to watch you and breathe heavy Jason.
See, I'm happy they took that out.
I mean, it would definitely switch the tone of the film. I agree with being happy they took it out, but I still get... Like, I don't feel like they overly took it out because I still get that. I don't feel if he tried to kill her that night, Jason wouldn't have let her go. She would have never gotten home that night. So I still get the fact that that's what he was after that night. If they would have added like a more intense scene, it probably wouldn't have been as popular since that's very hard to sell in any form.
Yeah. I mean, even in the little like flat, well, I don't know if you want to consider it a dream sequence or something she saw and didn't see, but in the end when she goes out to Canoe, kind of the homage to the first Friday the 13th. The awkward Jason smile from the cabin on the side of the water.
Oh,
and then he straight busts the door down and starts running towards her like full bore, like right off the hinges. And he's got this like goofy smile on his face, like, I'm coming to get you, girl.
Shit-eating grin.
Like, you're all mine now. Like, oh, good God, deliverance, Jason.
Well, this Jason set the tone for me, at least for the Jasons here on out. We got redneck, skippy, hillbilly Jason from the last movie. This Jason was gruff and rough, bulky, and like was just getting after it. In fact, I think it paved the way for Ted White, Kane Hodder, and like, what's his name? Dennis? The guy who played
Which
Jason
one?
in this movie?
Oh, no, it was Richard Brooker.
That's right.
Yeah.
He did such a fantastic job as Jason in this that I think it's kind of underrated, because the Jasons we get from here on out, it proves that they run, they're gruff, they're like, so you're doing the reboot and how everybody's bitching about traps and all that and how he doesn't run, how he doesn't. This Jason was doing shit that I never would think Jason would do. He's crawling on the ground, getting up, running. I'm like, man, like, we don't get this much anymore, but we do get big, rough Jasons from here on out.
I mean, I agree with that, but I think what having Jonathan previously said and their original intention, it makes sense. They were going more for a creep vibe than a big brute that we know now and love. He was more of like very creepy and fiendish, and like, you know what I'm getting at, and that meshes well with that. And I now that I look at it that way, that is effective for what they were going for, and maybe that was another disconnect with me with that. It didn't really feel like as effective as the second one to me. But I will say that the biggest highlight coming away from this one is that he got the hockey mask, because like, I'm sorry, like especially at that dock scene when you see him with the that whatever, the harpoon gun, whatever it is, that is a really cool looking scene to me. I love the way he looks and his head's kind of cocked, and that scene is really fun for me.
Definitely one of my favorite kills in the franchise. That apparently was originally much more violent. I don't know if you got that. Is there the more violent version in the Scream Factory one? Because originally, from what I read, that was set to have like blood like squirting out of the eye and everything.
No, but there is commentary and background on that kill. As soon as she hits the water, the prosthetics and stuff, the water got underneath and would let it go. So they have like a couple of minutes to get that shot done and out. So the girl was basically like trying to, like, she had a huge task upon her because the water was freaking freezing. Like, the line that they had to do and re-rig to make this scene work was just god awful. So basically they're like, please they're like, please don't mess this up, please. Like, apparently they had to redo the makeup 2 or 3 times, which was a very long process. But as soon as she hits the water, it pretty much goes. Like, it's gone.
Lifted. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, because back then, especially with the lower budget, it's going to be harder to stick the prosthetic with, like, water. It's better and easier nowadays, though water is going to be your enemy with any prosthetic. If water gets under there, sweat, regardless, you're going to have to touch it up. So I feel for them on that. Bringing up like the string again, there was another string that I wanted to bring up when there's the knife throw at the door. There's a string. Why is there a string coming out from the left of the knife when the knife was coming from the camera? I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me, but whatever works. I guess it was on a pulley, because that's all that makes sense to me. I don't know.
But the fact that Jason's a ninja now, he's just like throwing knives with like ninja level accuracy.
See, this whole movie is, the vibe is hilarious, and it's just because they don't know what direction they're going to. One of my favorite scenes is the polite 80s bikers, where they're teaching etiquette to like these teenagers. And I'm like, I know they're just trying to be dicks about it, but a part of me think they are kind of like out there. They're weird, because as soon as they like go and exact revenge, they act like they've never seen a fucking barn before. They're like, oh wow. It's like, I counted the minutes. It was about 4 or 5 minutes that they're walking through the barn, touching saddles. They never seen shit like this before. I'm like, what's the point? Get the gas and go. But no, they actually get their shit rocked. Go ahead.
Question: was it to get the gas or was it to burn the barn?
Oh, honestly.
Yeah, I thought they were trying to burn the barn down. That's the vibe
That's
I
what
got.
I thought
Nope,
too.
they were burning the barn down, but they were taking their sweet ass time.
Yeah,
But I do like that plot, though. It is believable that, like, after Shelley pissed them off, they would go and do some shit like that, and it would strand the vehicle. Like, that's a good way of, instead of, oh, Jason did this, because from here on out, Jason's a master electrician. He knows how to cut the power to damn near anything. So
yeah, I mean,
Jason
you would
not
think.
being involved with this one, thank you.
Yeah. What about like the crappy reaction of the biker, like when Shelley messes with him? He gets out in the street and he just starts punching the air like that. Are you kids, you scamps? It's like, what is this?
Literally,
Grease?
literally. It's like, dude, oh my god, come on. I agree. I think though, like I like the friends in this one for the most part. Though I hate that Shelley hates himself. Because I don't think he's as unattractive as like he thinks he is, you know. I feel bad for his character. And I hate, forgive me for forgetting her name, the one that gets it in the eye.
Next thing I know, he comes in my eye and he's out the door. Gone. You ever get cum in your eye, Gabriel, It burns.
Oh, that sounds bad. The one that they try to hook him up with. I hate the way she reacts to his, like, him trying to, like, come under her. Because it, like, hurts me. Because, like, you know, she kind of gives him hope throughout the day. And then when he builds up that confidence to say something, she just doesn't even let him say it. And it just hurt me.
I think I would prefer that in his shoes than like being led on. On top of that, like, I respect him for knowing his place, because I connected to Shelley exactly the same way growing up.
Oh my god!
And like I knew my
know
fucking
your worth, Billy.
Exactly, I knew my
your
fucking worth. I wasn't gonna fucking hit dingers in a league like that. No way.
But he literally ran over a bike with her earlier that day. She boosted him up. Like, he had the
would
confidence
pull these
because of
fake
her.
ass fucking stunts, like pretending to die multiple times.
I mean, he was kind of a dick, but at the same time, he wasn't hurting anybody. So it was like,
what was the line? I'd much rather be remembered as a dick than not at all, or a jerk than not at all.
I mean, he could have went about things a little bit better.
Well,
I mean,
it was the last scene for me that like kind of like took it away. He said something that was so dickish. I forget what he said. I'm like, come on, man. Like, I connected with you for like 80% of like your scenes, and then you go and say something like that, and I'm like, I wouldn't have gone there.
yeah, I got you.
So the other thing with Shelley is, I want to know how none of them appear to have any luggage. Shelley says, everything I own is in this box. This is my whole life. So in that box, he has a spear gun, a wetsuit, multiple masks, juggling, prosthetics, makeup.
Mm-hmm.
That is one hell of an Inspector Gadget container.
Literally, though.
Because
there's not a single like suitcase in the back of the van.
He's a juggler. I believe he might be a magician.
Yeah.
And that last final death
Apparently.
scene, it could be a fake death scene.
You're a wizard, Shelley.
You're a wizard. No,
it's like Harry Potter when they go in the tent and it's all bigger on the inside. Same thing with his case.
he was actually hated when this movie first came out. A lot of people found him annoying.
Well, because he was one of the, like, I think his character played into the stereotype of the time. Go ahead.
He grew into popularity, and like he has like a huge pop culture like backing now, and he gets excited when he does conventions. That's a cool fact.
Well, you know how he got cast, right?
No.
It was randomly. They just picked him up off the street. He'd never acted before.
Good for him. And the fact that
they're going around like scouting locations. They're like, "Hey, kid, you want to be in a movie?" That's how Shelley got casted.
Heck
He wasn't even an actor. It was just, "Hey, you want to be in this?"
And he's the one that gave Jason his mask. I think that makes my day.
That is cool. Like I think I already said this, but my favorite part about this is how he gets his mask. I mean, that's my biggest takeaway from this is Jason gets his iconic mask. Because when you think of Jason, what do you think of? You don't think of potato sack. You don't think of Mrs. Voorhees. Or you think of hockey mask. Exactly. It really made him. It brought him into the icon that he is. You know.
Let's get in the kills because first things first, I was kind of depressed with how Shelley's kill wasn't on screen.
But question, except for one, really, were any of them on screen? Did you see an insertion of any weapon on screen in this whole entire film? Because I didn't. Every kill was a cutaway.
I swear the knife actually connects to the guy's junk, and then the next scene, because they jump cut it, you see the legs spread and he flops down.
Okay, no, unfortunately not.
That's probably in your cut, not mine.
Yeah,
Okay.
not mine. Like I love that kill. It's one of the highlight kills in this for me because the majority of them are lackluster. But in the cut that I saw, you see like it's through glass. He's in the handstand. You don't even see the weapon hit him. Essentially, you just see like it hit the front of him, and then blood splatters down to the camera, and it jump cuts. And then his girlfriend's in the shower, which it's still cool. And then you see him on the top of the beam with his leg cut off later, which I really like.
I'm happy you guys got to see him on top of the beams.
The continuity in this movie. So
It's so bad. Go ahead.
boyfriend gets cut in half in the hallway. Essentially cut in half. There has to be blood everywhere.
Everywhere.
Girlfriend gets out of the shower, looks down the hallway. Where are you? Where are you?
Did you hear me about the beer? I don't want the
Really?
beer. I don't like when you don't
I thought-
listen to me.
The hallway's got to look like a murder scene after someone gets cut in half, and she's like, "Where's my beer? Oh, I don't need that anymore."
I'm happy that continuity pisses you guys off in a Friday the 13th movie. I think I've been through this lap once or twice.
Come on.
To a
Any
point,
movie.
but in this one, it's so bad.
See, personally-
Like, the other ones I can let it go, but this one is so glaring.
The other one that was glaring to me, I'm sorry, I have to bring up when because I do like the nod to the first two because it's another kill from under the bed. This is the third Friday film that has an under the bed kill, even though it's in a hammock, it's their bed in this. They get the girl and it's lower in her chest region, and when your friend finds her in the closet later, it's all the way up here. So where it goes in and where it ends up is two different spots.
But I love the love letter to Tom Savini with that, though.
Yes.
The fact that she opens the Fangoria, the Tom Savini article's in the Fangoria, and then she dies almost exactly the same way Kevin Bacon dies in the first one. Even with the same effect, with the body double here and the actual actor up here, like the same exact way they did it.
I appreciated that. I like that one.
See, I think what pissed me off more than continuity was that guy that fucking walked on his hands throughout the whole movie. He didn't do it once. He didn't do it twice. He did it like 3 freaking times. It's like, come on, my guy. Is that your only trick? Shelley's funny.
What I can do.
When you're good at one thing, do that one thing, I guess.
Shelley's funny. I have to outdo him.
What's that guy on Mad TV? Look what I can do.
Now what I owe you is, look what I can do.
Yeah, pretty
That
much.
was basically him the whole time. But yeah, I mean, his kill was my favorite, honestly, even though it's not anything crazy. The girl with the harpoon was my second favorite, personally. What were your favorites, Jonathan?
The spear gun. The spear gun's still one of my top favorite kills in the whole series. I just love how he's just standing there. He's just bracing the spear gun up against the pole. He's like, yeah, I'm going to make sure this is right on target. And she's over there. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Well,
then pop, right in the eyeball.
The one thing I loved about this whole movie, it wasn't like, Jason. It was, oh, come on, Shelley, knock it off. Fuck you, Shelley. And it's like, dude, Shelley's fucking dead. Like, get over it. Like, that's not Shelley. You need to fucking run.
Well, I'll give her at least that she figured out that, that ain't Shelley, because that's something other than a Shelley.
Well, do you know how many
After all.
characters did that? Like, even Shelley's death scene when he's running in and she's like, Shelley.
Just the way, just the...
Yeah. I like the pothead couple though. Those two had some fun back and forth because she was like the brave one and he was like the little bitch, and they were so funny together.
One of the best lines in the whole movie. Why do you
Yeah.
never scream like that for me? Give me something to scream about.
Yes, I love it. I love it so much.
I was dying. My wife watched the first half with me. She's like, "Why are those 40-year-olds hanging out with those like high school kids?" I'm like, "Damn."
I mean, they were the providers, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
No, I
I'm
love
trying
that
to-
scene.
Imagine being-
Go ahead, Jonathan.
They tried so hard to make that guy look like either Cheech Marin or like the Cheech and Chong, and I have a feeling they probably even tried to get one of those guys for this movie, and they refused to do it.
I'm sure. You know, I love this scene when they're all eating the weed because they think the cops are after them.
I wonder if that's where Super Troopers got the idea.
Oh, it could be.
See, Friday the 13th has a huge list of celebrities that look like celebrities that aren't celebrities in movies. So
True.
Cheech and Chong's that one. They wanted to do actually Carrie for the New Blood. And
You told me that, and I was like,
well,
really?
they were told no to Freddy. They're like, no, Freddy. And then they're like, all right, let's reach out to Stephen King and like whoever has this. I'm like, no. And they're like, okay, fine, we'll just rip that off. And then
What are your thoughts, Jonathan, on a Carrie versus Jason?
they basically did it. It was a Carrie versus
I mean,
Jason.
they did, but we're jumping ahead of ourselves. We'll do that, Jason, later.
Exactly.
Yes, there
But
we go.
Speaking, Jay Muse was actually in a documentary because they ripped off his shtick so much in Freddy vs. Jason that he sat down in Dead Memories and he's like, yeah, I remember when I was casting. He's like, wait, the fuck, I wasn't casting this, and then he took off his beanie. That's so good.
That's funny.
But no, I'm happy that they at least parody or tried to get people into this franchise.
Yeah.
I mean, the actors themselves did a good job overall. It wasn't like cringy acting throughout. Even Shelley, because knowing he hadn't acted previous, it's not like the best acting in the world, but there's not overly cringy acting in this, in my opinion. What other kills do we have that we need to discuss?
The eye
I would
pop out.
say the eye
What
pop
happened?
out, yeah. But I would
Eye-
say this one definitely has one of the best varieties of kills, like different
True.
weapons wise, like because he uses what? We got a pitchfork.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We have the electrocution. We have the hot fire poker. We have a spear
cool.
gun. We
Mhm.
have the machete, of course. Then we have like a smaller knife that he pokes up through the girl when she's in the hammock.
Mhm.
What else do we have? The head crush. I mean, there's quite a bit of variety in what he. Oh yeah, and the hatchet in the beginning with the store owner.
Yeah.
You don't really
And
see
then,
what it is.
Sewing needle.
Is
that
it a
he
sewing
saw.
needle? Okay, yeah.
The only reason I know is because like if you like in the beginning, she's using two and she goes to pick it up on the couch and she says, "Oh, where's the other one?" And that's what he uses on her.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you don't. It goes into my earlier thing that you don't really see any of the penetration of the weapons in this movie, which I hate. But I get for budgetary
Yeah, there's not a lot of
restrictions,
penetration
but I
that's
hate-
at all. I agree.
I know,
There's
right.
there's
Lil
no
was looking
other
for the
better
penetration,
word.
and she wasn't finding it.
I mean, you gotta have that good
In
penetration. on
3D,
screen.
no less.
If you don't see it, it never happened. Because I mean, you know, size doesn't always count. It has to be seen.
Well,
you know?
Is that what you told your last bow?
I mean.
See,
Sorry, Bryce.
so let's get to the ending where Jason's just hanging around.
Okay.
Like I said, I really like taunting Jason when he lifts up the mask and does the weird tongue thing. I could see where they were trying.
The faces he gives in this.
The thing is,
That smile at the end still gets me.
Oh, and can we say how we had like, okay, you guys might not get this, but like we had a semi-sexy Jason, meaning half sexy Jason, half regular Jason in the second one, and this one it's kind of like normal person Jason and like messed up Jason, because like the other half of Jason in the second one was not that bad of looking as this one is. I'm not saying he's sexy by any means. I'm just saying.
target ahead is not the same as quitting.
The Jason in this one, the attractiveness does not correlate. I'm sorry.
You're digging
So-
yourself a hole.
I'm just
First,
saying.
we like disabled men in wheelchairs wearing athletic jerseys. Now we like rednecks with deformed faces and rotted out teeth.
I said the other half. The other half.
What?
He wasn't wearing gray sweatpants, Lil. What are you looking at?
Yeah,
No, in the second one,
He had-
part of his face isn't that bad.
he
and
had
looked
patchy
like he
hair, eye dripping,
looked like
one
he-
eye
he
is
looked-
huge. They were elephanting this man.
Yes, he had potential in the second one if he didn't have
If he kept the
deformity,
sack
is
on his
all I'm
head,
saying.
if he kept the sack on his head, maybe.
Oh my god. Lil over here, I'll have him, but he's got to put the sack on.
This is,
Anne, come on, come with me on this one.
she's
if you have some
not.
ass
No,
balls.
she's gonna be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
No, hey, Anne loves her cutout of Jason. Thank you very much.
This is going to be the clip of the episode right here.
Yeah.
Lil is attracted to
And you're
part
over
two
here like,
Jason.
Anne likes men with deformities. Anne likes her.
No. I will text Anne right now, thank you. She loves her cutout.
What if she's like, "What the fuck are you into?" Oh my
I
god!
half wanted to troll you in this episode and roll out in a wheelchair.
Oh my god.
That would be.
Oh my.
But speaking
Heidi
of
Hoozle.
random ass continuity, they actually try to match the prosthetics and makeup of the first Jason to this Jason. So it was bald, the eyes, the everything. But the thing is like, we already got redneck, hillbilly, long-haired Jason.
It doesn't look the same to me.
Why are you trying to match continuity to the first one?
I'm not.
mean-
I'm doing it to the second one.
No, I'm talking about the makeup artist in this movie. The makeup artist didn't go off of second Jason. They were going off of baby Jason, the one that popped out of the water.
But why would they do that if we saw the adult Jason already?
They changed the makeup in this movie. I don't know if you knew that. So there's a
I
different
could
Jason you
tell.
see through the clotheslines when he's kind of like stalking the house in the beginning. It's a different facial makeup than what you see later on in the movie. They ended up changing the design, and they had already filmed those scenes, and the movie's so low budget that they couldn't reshoot them, and they just kind of figured, well, you can't really see him there anyway.
I got you.
See,
Makes sense.
and then from there on out, after she defeated Jason, the makeup for Pamela, I really dug. Like, I thought that was some of the best quality, especially jumping out of water.
With the worm coming out of her cheek, yeah, it was pretty cool.
And
They did a good job with that.
that's where I would have preferred to leave the movie rather than her having like a mental fit in the back.
Oh, you want me to make you guys have a mental fit again? Are you ready?
Oh, Lord.
I'm so
You ready?
scared.
Here we go.
We had this discussion in the last one. You came for me. We're gonna have it again. That was not her hair in the first movie. Why the fuck did they make her hair like it in this one?
You're right. After molding for like 6 years,
I'm saying it can be white, but why does it look like that? Hair does not grow after.
Lilith is popping in to defend her honor. You cannot tell me this hair turns into this hair. Where'd that hair come from? Where'd that hair come from? Also, fun little fact, same sweater.
It should be her haircut. That's all I'm saying. If I see that haircut one more goddamn time, and it's not the continuity of the first one, I will bring it up again. Thank you very much.
and her nails wasn't that style of pink.
No,
The fuck
I have you know-
continuity.
No. Billy, I have you know. They had a clip at the beginning of this that lasted a minute and 30 seconds. If they wanted no continuity, then they should have freaking
And
put the hair.
it was a powder
No,
blue
it's-
turtleneck, not a sky blue. Fucking
that is different. That is a color, not a hairstyle. Thank you.
Let's get this back in here. Let's get back here.
Well, I would've-
So, did anyone notice the very, very well done job of alluding to something at the beginning of the movie?
I don't know what you're talking
about.
Oh, so you both didn't catch it. So they did the same sort of thing in a previous movie that we did a review on, Cabin of the Woods. So, in this movie, Friday the 13th Part 3, when they're going across the bridge with the hippie bus in the beginning, you see that the bridge is rickety, and they make it a point to zoom in the camera and show you that this bridge is not stable, leading into the fact that when she tries to drive over it at the end of the movie, the bridge collapses.
Yep.
They do a very good job of like zooming in and going, yeah, something's going to happen with this later, and then pull out.
Yep. That was very good foreshadowing right there.
I love when they kind of throw that in there, especially in a movie that seems like it's kind of, I don't know, like trying to figure out what angle it wants to hit. Because we said there's like the SA themes that are still kind of in the movie. And then you have like the goofiness and the campiness and the stoners and Shelley and everything. There's a lot going on.
There is a lot going on because it really couldn't figure out what it was.
And the ending was probably the most downer ending compared to all of them.
Yeah.
Like, you're having such a fun time. You could at least let Chrissy have, like, a good get out, like, oh, I can't believe I survived this. No, you're sending her to a mental ward.
If this was meant to be the finale, can you imagine this being the end of Jason? That would have been kind of depressing, in my opinion.
And that's why I'm happy it's not. That's why I'm happy that the next movie we're going to watch, the final chapter, is considered the finale, because it brings back the gore, the guts, honestly, I love everything. This is, if I recommend slasher movies, the next one is what I'm going to recommend. Is there any last things you want to say about part 3, though?
Yeah, fun fact for you two, this was not the one that was my favorite growing up like I thought it was. So I'm in search for Lilith's favorite Friday the 13th from growing up, because this was not it. There's another one that I remembered that I thought was this one. So it may be 3 or 4, it may be 5.
Do you know the scene, any scenes that you remember?
I remember Blue Thunder. I know that doesn't help.
Blue Thunder.
I remember like a bus of kids, I think. Like not like a school bus, like more like a van or like a bigger like car.
I think it's part 6.
I think it is 6.
It might be 6. That was my favorite growing up. I don't know. To be determined in this franchise.
So there is one more little trivia bit that I forgot to mention.
Oh, yes, please.
None of us mentioned it yet, so I'm going to go with it. This is actually the start of them using David Bowie songs to disguise the filming of these movies. So when they were filming Friday the 13th Part 3, it was codenamed Crystal Japan.
Yep.
Are you serious?
They started doing that, and it carried on from this movie on. So every time they're filming a Friday the 13th film, they use a David Bowie song to hide it.
That's amazing. I love that fact. Cloverfield did that. They everybody they told the movie was called Cheese. Go ahead, Billy.
Jason kind of made Steven Spielberg at one point in time shake in his shoes. E.T. was number 1 for weeks and weeks and weeks. Jason was the first one to take it off its number 1 slot. On top of that, it was the second highest grossing horror movie of that year. It almost beat out Poltergeist, which is another Spielberg produced film.
Okay.
So
I think that's because of the will of the filmmakers, because 3D was there, but it wasn't in very many theaters. So in a lot of cases, from what I read, the distributors and the film producers and all that, they were paying for some of these theaters to get the equipment to be able to show this in 3D, to the point where they had a 24-hour hotline set up for these theaters to call them if there was any technical difficulties with the print.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Look at that. That going to my point that I always go to, community is everything. You know, when you help people, it brings opportunities. When you try to get yourself somewhere, it brings you nothing. When you try to bring yourself and people along with it's just like community is everything. When you have nobody behind you, at the end of the day, you have nobody to fall on. Community is everything.
I agree, but the last season and the movie they tried to do, it was god awful. And Chevy Chase was decent. Even though a lot of people were happy to see him leave. I was like, oh.
Well, Chevy Chase was happy to see himself leave because all he does is bitch on set about not wanting to be there as much as everybody else.
I mean, look at the rest of Dan Harmon's productions and failures. That Justin Roiland, we won't get into that. Let's go ahead and get to the game.
Yeah. Okay. I'm offending Billy because he simps for
All
Chevy.
right.
Anyway,
This game's self-explained. You guys watched the first 20
It is
episodes,
not.
right?
it is not. It is not. Billy does not like me explaining the rules. It's simple. 1 through 5. We can't mix our slots. Jonathan is in
God
in charge
damn
of
it,
the
Lou!
game.
You had one job.
Oh, I can't wait to do this to you two.
Oh, I'm excited. Okay, let's go.
I've been waiting for this moment. First movie, Barbarian.
Oh, I hate you already.
4.
Oh. 3.
Okay. Second movie, House of Darkness.
Do I like it more than Barbarian, or do I like it less than Barbarian?
I need to look up this. I've seen this, but I can't remember. I need to look up the poster.
I watched it last year. It was really low rated, but I don't think it was that bad. But do I hate Barbarian that much? I say no. Or yes.
Oh.
Number 3 for
5.
me.
5. That wasn't my favorite.
Next movie, Tusk.
5.
I'm so mad about putting that one at 5. Or okay, 4. That would have been a 5 for me. Yeah,
Tusk
4.
was higher in the last episode we did for you. That's
I know, but honestly, I would have preferred to have House of Darkness.
this is
over Tusk.
1
Go
and
ahead.
2. This is going to be scary. What is it?
Well, I'm surprised neither one of you figured out the theme of this yet.
Oh, I know the theme. I just wasn't giving it to Billy.
Okay. Next movie, Jeepers Creepers.
Do you know the theme? This is obvious at this point.
You haven't figured it out yet, Billy?
Literally, it's easy. Like, super easy. Justin Long is in every single one of these films.
Okay.
So, what do you think the last one is going to be?
Goosebumps?
Jeepers Creepers.
Jeepers Creepers 1?
The first one.
I'll put that at 1.
2. Because I'm curious to see what this last one's going to be.
Drag Me to Hell.
I'm
Yes,
happy.
1. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Okay, I Lilith is the queen of controversial opinions. I actually like the second Jeepers Creepers better than the first one, though I will agree that the first one is more iconic than the second. I feel like the second has more rewatchability for me. Maybe it's because it's made by a gay man. That is very possible. I don't know. But I do love that one a lot. And even as much as I love the first one, I do like the second one more. But also, Justin Long isn't like an instant sell for me. I don't simp over him like a lot of people do. I mean, he's a good actor.
But I feel like he's quickly becoming like secret horror like royalty because he keeps popping up in so many horror movies.
He's a Scream King at this point. Like, there's very few Scream Kings, and I think he's got that title.
See, this is a tiptoey subject because doesn't he have allegations legitimately?
He does, but nothing
hear
has
this.
been substantiated. I fully believe in innocent until proven guilty, and there's been no trial, there's been no evidence, there's been no case brought. It's just people saying things. That doesn't get you anywhere.
That got rid of my Justin Roiland and Rick and Morty. That got rid of Johnny Depp in most of the movies he was supposed to be in. Fantastic Beasts, Pirates, and all that. So, accusations do hurt.
They do.
Fun fact, Billy, you're getting Johnny Depp back. You want to know why? Because he swore he wouldn't come back for $300 million. They gave him 301, and he said yes.
Good. He deserved it.
Yes.
Well, I also heard that they're working on a live action Nightmare Before Christmas, and Tim Burton's doing it. And obviously, if Tim Burton's doing it, who do you think he's going to pick?
Chris Sarandon's still alive, and so is Danny Elfman.
That's what Johnny is Jack. I don't know. That man can play any part, But Johnny is Jack? That's an interesting conversation.
Yeah, and Christina Ricci as the Sally.
I'll dig that. I can dig that. Oh, yes, give me my Miss Ricci as Sally.
They hated working on Sleepy Hollow together because they did because previously they did a movie and they were like father and daughter or whatever.
I remember. Okay, they hated acting together as like
couples because the age gap and what was
Yeah.
going on. It's just weird.
It kind of worked for Sleepy Hollow though, because I feel because they had that like he shouldn't be touching her kind of thing, and it worked for like the relationship, I think. But yeah, that's just my thought.
All right. Well, this was a great episode.
Before we go, thank you.
I'm still doing the. Give me 1 second. I'll edit this.
No seconds, Billy. This is social media. We're wasting $5 a second here.
Seriously.
I had it and then I lost it.
Streaming is expensive, Billy.
Oh, let's do the Billy when Lil is talking.
Oh.
Whoop. What's the Billy when Lil's talking?
Looking at your goddamn phone.
I'm a very important businessman. I have business decisions I have to make.